Well, Chris, still rising as it has been all morning. And if you look behind me, we've got a little marker out here. It's still not that light out, so I'll go and take some pictures and post them online later. But it's moved about 1.5 feet since we placed it at 4:30 this morning. So in 2 hours, the river has grown 1.5 feet towards us, and it is moving quickly and it's growing quickly. We had a police escort take us down here, and he told us at 2 o'clock this morning he could drive down here. So that just tells you this water is not slow. It is moving quickly. So there's a lot of sandbags around the Mott building, just like there's plenty of sandbags and HESCO barriers around all of downtown. Massive community effort to get those up. But there is a curfew in place right now, and it ends in just about 30 minutes from it's 8 p.m. to 7 a.m. So this is not an area you should be in. There's plenty of road closed signs. There's plenty of police marking those checkpoints, so you won't make the mistake of coming down here, but it's not a safe situation, so you definitely don't want to be near this water. So again, the water is rising quickly, supposed to crest tomorrow morning. Just make sure you're staying safe and staying here on TV9 for the latest updates. Live in downtown Cedar Rapids, Leah Schwartz, KCRG, TV9 News. Chris, we are taking a look out here at the Cedar River, right behind the Mott building. Just look at the McGrath Amphitheater. That's the drive up. That is undrivable. Now, we've been out here since 4:30 this morning, and I was marking how far the water had come up, but we've lost our stick. There's no way I can get it anymore. It's completely gone. But Cedar Rapids Police wants to let people know, please do not stand on the HESCO barriers or the berms. It's not a safe place to get a vantage point to take a picture, and they have reports of people doing that. So they are stressing, please stay off of that and keep out of the closed roads. There are police at checkpoints keeping you out, so make sure you're just following the rules and stay here with TV9 as we give you the latest updates on the Cedar River downtown through the day. Live in downtown Cedar Rapids, Leah Schwartz, KCRG, TV9 News. Well, Chris, definitely a lot of water out here. I'll go ahead and step out of the way so you can take a look. Now, we were standing here yesterday, and that water was way further back than that. We also had a marker out here that we can't get anymore. It's completely underwater. There used to be benches, and I don't know if you can see, but these light posts, that's where the edge of the river used to be. So you can just see how much water has moved towards us. Now, yesterday it was rising quickly. Today, not so much. It hasn't moved much since we got out here at 4:30. It's definitely moving fast, but not rising fast. So that's a pretty good sign. And the sandbag walls and HESCO barriers out in the area where we are look like they're holding up just fine. I know there's a lot of those massive community effort to get those built over the last few days, and the city is ready if those were to breach or anything. They've got reinforcements ready. City Public Works is out here. The city's prepared to go ahead and put extra sandbags up to protect those walls. But as of right now, everything seems to be holding up very well. A couple of things that the police department wants me to stress is for people not to stand on the sandbag walls or the HESCO barriers to get that vantage point to take a picture. Please stay off those walls. There's plenty of checkpoints around here. Police stationed 70 different checkpoints throughout town to make sure you're not in these areas. But if you are in these areas, please do not stand on those walls. And anybody that's wanting to help sandbag or help anybody in the affected areas, they're wanting you to wait until we crest this afternoon, until that water starts going down before you come back in here. So just remember to stay safe, stay off the HESCO barriers, off the berms, out of the way, and stay with TV9 for the latest updates. Live in downtown Cedar Rapids, Leah Schwartz, KCRG, TV9 News.
What's the river looking like right now?
It is high and it is swift. That's one thing to keep in mind, is even though it's still going down, the current is still very strong. So I want to remind people, heed the barricades. Just because it's coming down doesn't mean that we're out of the woods just yet. Safety is still a top concern. And that 18-foot level is the one that city officials have been watching to get past, because there's been a lot of stress on the systems that are keeping a lot of the water out. And of course, the systems that are trying to keep the water flowing underground as well. So keep in mind that once we get past that later on today, things are going to be continuing to improve. Also, that 18-foot level, that's when water recedes away from the base of the Edgewood Road Bridge. Now, doesn't mean that later on today when we get there it's going to be open right away. It's going to take some time for crews to inspect things, make sure everything's clear and ready for traffic once again. But that'll be a good thing once that does open, because it'll free up traffic that's been really confined to 380 and Highway 30 recently.
First, for the most part, what they returned to was no change at all. Most came back to homes that had not seen any water at all, and little, and in most cases, no damage at all. Still, I really didn't hear any regrets about heeding the call to evacuate or the time and effort required to move belongings out of potential harm. Now, the job of moving back in could take a lot longer than picking up and moving out. One owner figured it took less than a day to remove belongings from a basement, including the water heater and even the furnace. Now, she thought it might take 2 weeks to gradually move everything back in. Now, part of that was there's no pressure to hurry now, and there's also no regrets about all the work and expense that proved to be unnecessary.
If we didn't remove everything, we probably would have got a foot in our upstairs. So it was like, and now my house is going to be really super clean.
Most homeowners got no water inside at all. One exception was the handful of homes on Ellis Boulevard on the wet side of the city's temporary flood barriers. But even here, the crest of 22 feet, that stopped well short of the home, and about a foot of water in the basement actually came from pressure on the storm sewers and also the backups. And one thing that has changed out here on 12th Avenue, also on 8th Avenue, as you look behind me here, you can see that the traffic is moving now. Police removed the barricades about 5 o'clock. And so the regular traffic is flowing now. It was supposed to be 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, but obviously an early jump on it. So there is traffic moving again across the Cedar River, at least on the 8th and 12th Avenue bridges. Live in Cedar Rapids, Dave Franzman, KCRG, TV9 News.
Chris and Nicole, I'm on the corner of 1st Street and 7th Avenue out here in Waverly, and just take a look at how much water is out here. Now, this neighborhood is evacuated. Tried walking out to this lending library right here, and it's calf deep, so this is deep water. And as we mentioned, the city is expecting for the river to reach 16 feet by tomorrow. And for all of the people who were in this area, there are 2 shelters open for them now. That's Grace Baptist Church right across the street from McDonald's, and we have Rally Point Cedar Valley Veterans, which is on 16th Street Northwest. Both of those places are open for people who are in need from this area. So again, the Cedar River is expected to reach 16 feet tomorrow. Stay with TV9 throughout the day for the latest updates. Live in Waverly, Bria Love, KCRG TV9 News.